Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to deconstruct the strategy behind launching a brand new premium vodka. And let me tell you, it's one of the world's most competitive markets. We'll be using the fascinating case study of a brand called Blue Jay. Okay, let's just dive right in. This is the central challenge for any new spirits brand, right? You're trying to break through all that noise. The shelves are absolutely packed. So how did one Ukrainian startup even begin to plan to carve out its own space? So let's start at the very beginning. A new contender arrives. And this whole story kicks off with a really ambitious goal: to create a new, super premium vodka from Ukraine, one that's designed from the ground up to compete with the biggest global players out there. So this vodka comes from Ukraine's Lviv region, and it uses this really high-quality in-house grain spirit. And the goal was super explicit from day one: create a product that could match, or hey, maybe even surpass, the prestige of huge brands like Grey Goose. Now, to compete, you first have to understand the battlefield. So next up, we're analyzing the stagnant market. Because when the team started digging into the data, they didn't just find a lot of competition, they actually uncovered a pretty surprising weakness among the established leaders. I mean, just take a look at this. The first thing that just jumps right out at you is this massive revenue gap. Yeah, Grey Goose is a household name, but the American brand Tito's has totally eclipsed it. It's generating more than double the revenue of its closest competitor. Wow. And this graph here really shows us the why behind that gap. Now, I know the labels are in Ukrainian, but you don't need to read them to see what's going on. That top orange line, that's Tito's. Steady, dynamic growth. And those legacy brands below it, they're basically flat, just holding on through their big name and huge marketing budgets. So all of this data led the team to a really crucial realization. The path to success was not to become another Grey Goose. No, the real opportunity was to figure out what was driving the success of the market's new wave of players. So, what did they find when they looked closer at this new wave? Well, analyzing these fast-growing brands revealed a major shift in what premium consumers are actually looking for these days. The market is really shifting. It's moving away from those generic luxury origin stories, like Grey Goose and its focus on France. Instead, people are fascinated with unique, authentic ingredients like Haku vodka, which is made from Japanese white rice. And you see a similar pattern with raw materials. It's no longer just about traditional rye or wheat. Consumers are now really drawn to these unconventional bases, like the Greek olives used to make Castra Elion. I mean, who would have thought? So what does all this mean? Well, it points to a whole new set of rules for what premium even is. Today's consumer pays for authenticity, for a unique story, for a craft ethos. It's a lot like what we saw happen in the craft beer market, right? It's no longer just about what's in the bottle, but the story behind it. Okay, so armed with all this incredible insight, the team was ready to move from analyzing to actually creating. The goal now was to forge a brand identity from scratch that could speak directly to this new generation of mindful, discerning consumers. This strategic thinking led them to a really crucial change. They decided to shorten the name from Blue Jay to just Jay. This one small change created a more premium, minimalist, and globally accessible brand name. It also cleverly shed the strong American cultural ties of the original name. And they built the brand's entire philosophy around this core idea: intelligent by nature. It's great because the slogan works on two levels. It symbolizes both the Blue Jay bird's intelligence and the vodka's natural, pure origins. Very clever. So who is this vodka actually for? Well, it was specifically created not for everyone, but for a very specific audience. We're talking about conscious consumers who actively seek out products with character, with depth, with a real sense of truth. The kind of person who actually reads the label. All right, so you've got the strategy, you've got the name. What's next? Well, now we get to designing a modern vodka. The next step was to translate this whole intelligent, minimalist strategy into the physical product itself, bringing the brand to life in the bottle and, of course, the liquid inside. And this is so cool, you can actually see the design evolving right here. It shifted from a more illustrative, kind of busy style on the left to this much cleaner, more refined look on the right. That Ukrainian text is actually a note from the design team, highlighting how the new look feels more premium and authentic. It just perfectly aligns with that minimalist identity. So, the launch strategy included two distinct products. First, you have J Pure, which is a crystal clear, neutral vodka just perfect for high-end cocktails. And then you have J Botanical, a more character-driven vodka with these subtle notes of forest herbs really meant for sipping. And this botanical version is really a direct response to that modern trend we were talking about earlier. It's for people who want spirits with more texture, with a real taste of their origin. It moves beyond simple neutrality and into something much more memorable. And finally, what about the future? Because a great launch isn't enough, right? The strategy also had to outline a really clear path for growth into other expanding parts of the market. Now, what I think is so smart about their proposed flavor range is how it combines global trends like berry and citrus with a uniquely authentic Ukrainian identity. For example, that honey pepper flavor is a modern, premium take on a very traditional Ukrainian vodka called perdzivka. And the strategy looks even further ahead, targeting the absolutely exploding ready-to-drink market, RTDs. We're talking canned cocktails, hard seltzers, that whole space, which is projected to be worth over $42 billion by 2029. That's a huge number. So when you look at this brand's journey from just an ambitious idea to a fully formed strategy, it shows that a successful launch today, it's about so much more than just having a good product. It's about deep strategic thinking, really understanding the consumer, and building a brand that has real meaning. Which leaves us with a final thought. In the fierce battle for the modern drinker, will intelligence and authenticity be enough to win?